Magandang gabi sa inyo lahat. Kayo nanonood sa Grace and Truth for You, from my house to yours, from my heart to yours. Medyo po nagsimula tayo dito ng mga 10:15, ano po? And so, tonight, napakahalaga ng ating pag-uusapan. Sapagkat ito po ay, it affects a lot. It affects everyone. It can affect millions. Ano po? In this pandemic, hindi pinag-uusapan dito yung coronavirus. Ang pinag-uusapan po dito ay yung mga healthy mga tao na walang coronavirus but they are feeling depressed. Kaya ngayong gabi ay pag-uusapan po natin ang depression. Depression. Ano po? Well, according to Wikipedia, depression is a state of low mood and aversion to activity. It can affect a person's thoughts, behavior, motivation, feelings, and sense of well-being. Tandaan yan, ha? Okay. The core symptom of depression is said to be Anhedonia, which refers to loss of interest or a loss of feeling of pleasure in certain activities that usually bring joy to people. Depressed mood is a symptom of some mood disorders. Yan po, such as major depressive disorder or dysthymia. It is a normal temporary reaction to life events. Temporary po, hindi po permanent. A normal temporary reaction to life events, such as the loss of a loved one, also a symptom of some physical diseases, and a side effect of some drugs and medical treatments. It may feature sadness, difficulty in thinking, and concentration, and a significant increase or decrease in appetite and time spent sleeping. People experiencing depression may have feelings of dejection, hopelessness, and sometimes suicidal thoughts. It can either be short-term or long-term. Ngayon, ito po sometimes, it affects people in childhood. Childhood pa lang, adversity in childhood. Such as bereavement, neglect, mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, or unequal parental treatment of siblings can contribute to depression in adulthood. Pero kapabirotism, nakikita yan ng mga anak mo, makikita ng mga kapatid mo. Childhood physical or sexual abuse in particular significantly correlates with the likelihood of experiencing depression over the victim's lifetime. For example, rape. Nagiging traumatic po yan. Traumatic po yan, Okay. Life events and changes that may influence depressed moods include, pero hindi limitado, to childbirth. May mga pagkakataon sa pagkabuntis mo, o childbirth, o menopause, o financial difficulties, or what? Unemployment, or stress. Ako po, nai-stress po ako, from work, education, family, living conditions, or a medical diagnosis. May cancer ka. Meron kang HIV, meron kang tinatawag na fatal disease, or you are a victim of abuse, a victim of bullying, a victim of discrimination, or natural disasters, or social isolation. Oo. Kanina binanggit ko na yung rape, pero pwede nating gawin din yung relationship troubles, jealousy, separation, or catastrophic injury. Adolescents may be especially prone to experiencing a depressed mood following social rejection, peer pressure, or bullying. Ngayon, gusto ko naman basahin itong research, entitled Psychological Impact of COVID-19 Pandemic in the Philippines. Ito po sa pandemic na ho ito. Oo. This is published by the National Center for Biotechnology Institute in August of this year. And again, republished by the Journal of Affective Disorders. Ngayon lang buwan na ito. Some important statistics were drawn regarding the current situation of mental health in the Philippines and in this time of pandemic. So ito po ang statistics. Ibig sabihin ito, mga kaibigan, ito yung effect. Totoo po ito. Alright, ito. 16% of Filipinos surveyed experience moderate to severe psychological impact from the pandemic. 16%, Oo. Okay. 29% of Filipinos surveyed manifested moderate to severe anxiety symptoms. 13% of Filipinos surveyed showed moderate to severe stress signals. The survey showed that females were more likely to feel these adverse psychological symptoms than male. Ayan tandaan niyo yan. Okay. Now, other subgroups that were identified as more likely to experience these psychological symptoms are, ito po yung less educated people, yung hindi po nakakompleto kahit man lang high school, singles, living alone, adolescents, or couples without children. Students, ito are more likely to become stressed than employed people. Ayan, tandaan nyo mga magulang Students are more likely to become stressed than employed people. People who have HMOs are more likely to overcome their psychological stresses by 60%. Yung HMO, insurance po yan, medical insurance, Ito, people spend 9 hours on average a day on social media. Ayan, tandaan nyo, kayong mahihilig sa mga social media, O ako nandun din ako. During the height of the lockdown, to draw information about the crisis. Among these, more people experience headline stress disorder. Ashitabati. Inimin mo to, bigyan mo ko ng ashitaba. Okay, Among these, most people experience headline stress disorder by getting their news from unsolicited shared information that have not been fact-checked nor verified by a reliable secondary source. Ito, for example, forwarded messages that are probably fake news, usually done by friends and acquaintances. Nako, mambira, biktima ko niyan. Hindi ako guilty, pero biktima ko niyan. People who religiously practice minimum health protocols were less likely to feel anxious or stressed or depressed than those who do not practice them. Ayan Ito, essential workers are less likely to experience depression than those who are staying indoors because of their social mobility. Ayan, essential workers. Na nasa labas kayo. In other words, people who have been staying too long inside their homes are more likely to become depressed or stressed. Yun, okay. In a similar research entitled COVID-19 and Mental Disorder in the Philippines, published in the summer of this year, the following information were established. Ano po ito? Factors considered in the uptick of depression among Filipinos are, ito yon, lack of social connectedness, isolationist, o kayo mga pastor dyan na nag-isolate. Ito mahalaga, unmet spiritual needs. Ayan, pupunain po natin ito ngayong gabi. Unmet spiritual needs. Poor social well-being or inability to adjust to changing situations, particularly decline in well-being or fear of dying alone. Fear of dying alone. Meron ka na nga fear of dying eh. Pero yung fear of dying alone, yung pandemic na ito, talagang reality yung fear na yan. No? Oo. Overall, 37% of adults have reported feeling depressed during this pandemic. 37%, ha? Hindi pa ho ito, kasi depressed na po yan. Yan na yung pinaka-worst, no? Hindi kasama yung stress, hindi kasama yung paranoid, hindi kasama yung worrisome. Okay. O ito, here are other statistics for mental health in general, around the world, ha? Ano to? 53% of American results have felt mental effects of the pandemic caused by worry and stress in July and increased from 32% in March when the pandemic was just breaking in the U.S. Among the most obvious effects of the pandemic to Americans were sleep deprivation, eating disorders. Itong masama. Increase in alcohol consumption and substance use. Or chronic illnesses like diabetes, for example. Or like, ano ba yung iba mo? Chronic, no? Liver problem, o dialysis. In July, 40% of Americans experienced elevation of stress levels from worry to depression, a rise of 6% in 2 months. Mas marami sa Amerika, ha? People who stayed indoors in the U.S. were more likely to become depressed, 47%, than those who were mobile and usually out for work, 37%. Almost half of the parents in America, 49%, with kids, may mga anak, ages 18 and below, reported that their children have manifested symptoms of negative mental effects of the pandemic. Ito namang suicide. Suicide in the U.S. is the number 10 leading cause of death overall. Pandemic man o wala. But is second, terrible, is second among children ages 12 to 17. Nakakapagtaka yan. The pandemic is seen as a phenomenon that can further exacerbate the figures, which means if unmitigated, kung ito po ay hindi na solve o nawalan nangyayari, 12 million teens or more are in danger of entertaining suicidal thoughts. Yan po ay sa Amerika. 58% of those experiencing stress and depression are because of unemployment. 58%. People earning less than $40,000 a year were more likely to become depressed. That's 35%. compared to those earning $90,000 a year. 20% po. Magkano yung 40,000 times 48? Di ba? Magkano yung 90,000 times 48 din? Sa Amerika, hindi ka mabubuhay ng maayos. Kahit ng 90,000. Oo. Itong 40,000 na ito, alam natin mas mataas to sa Pilipinas, pero $40,000 na ito, that is starvation wages. Below the poverty line. Pati ito pong 9,000, poverty line po ito. Okay. So yan po ang statistics na aking binasa sa inyo. O ngayon, ito ang tanong. Ano magagawa natin? Okay, meron po dito, nababasahin ko, na 20 things to try how to fight depression. Kaya kung meron kayong kamag-anak kayong gabi, o kayo mismo, stress na stress ka, worried na worried ka, paranoid na paranoid ka na, well, look just to let you know, ako rin po nakaka-experience ng paranoia. Moderate. Nakaka-experience ng stress. Oo, talagang meron akong hyperacidity. Stress. That is related to problems, related to work, related to negative thoughts. Oo. Pero, meron po diyang meron diyang solusyon. Okay? Kaya ngayong gabi, bibigay ko sa inyo ang 20 bagay na pwede niyong subukan. Kung meron kayong depression o kung meron kayong kamag-anak, kapatid, magulang, na may depression, pwede nyo itong subukan. Lalo na po sa mga frontliners. Okay. Nakakaranas po ang depression yan sapagkat nakikita po nila yung paghihirap ng mga COVID-19 patients. Hindi yun nila matake yun. Okay. So, alam nyo, ang depression can drain your energy. Alam nyo ba yun? Iniiwan ka na feeling empty and fatigue. Parang pagod na pagod ka. Wala ka namang ginawa. No? This can make it difficult to master the strength or desire to seek treatment. Kasama po dyan ang tinatawag nating psychosomatic diseases. Tulad ng migraine. Psychosomatic. Wala pong gamot yan eh. Walang pong gamot ang migraine. Kahit na uminom kayo ng pain reliever, hindi po mamililip yan. Certain forms of asthma. Asthma. Ano po? Skin asthma. Acne. O naglalabasan ng mga allergy sa katawan ninyo. Can be signs of stress or depression. Okay. Pero, meron mga maliliit na mga steps that you can take, I can take, to help you feel more in control and improve your overall sense of well-being. Yun po, yung sense of well-being. So, ito po, babasahin ko sa inyo at i-explain ko isa-isa. Number 1, meet yourself where you are. Don't deny it. The more you deny that you have depression, the more depressed you become. Don't deny it. Now, to let you know, para maging maganda naman ang feeling natin, no? Depression is common. It affects millions of people. Perhaps including you, including some of your loved ones. You may not realize this, but they face similar challenges than you, like me. Emotions, obstacles, pressures, challenges. So, anong gagawin natin? Number 1, meet yourself where you are. Every day, with this depressive disorder, is different. Different yan, every day. Ha? Napakahalaga to take your mental health seriously and accept that where you are right now is not where you'll always be. Sabihin, kung depressed ka ngayon, accept mo. Pero bukas, hindi na siguro yan. Di ba? I mean, you might be in this right now, but you also must learn to accept that you can overcome it tomorrow. Di ba? You can overcome it tomorrow. Okay. Ito nakalagay. The key to self-treatment for depression is to be open, accepting, and loving toward yourself and what you are going through. Hindi po kasalanan ang ibigin mo ang sarili mo. Ang kasalanan ay mas ibigin mo ang sarili mo kaya sa iba. Yun ang kasalanan. Sapagkat nakalagay po sa Bible, din naman, no? That you ought to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Ibig sabihin, equal love. Sapagkat wala po kayong tao, marahil kakaunti lang, na walang pag-ibig sa kanyang sarili. Ay sabi po ng Bible, ibigin mo yung kapwa mo tulad ng pag-ibig mo sa iyong sarili. Yun po yan, ha? Oo. Ngayon, ang depression is when you begin to hate yourself. Don't hate yourself. Don't hate yourself. Kahit ano na nangyayari sa'yo, don't hate yourself. May sakit ka, do not hate yourself. Sapagkat if you hate yourself, paano mo papagalingin ang sarili mo? Di ba? Don't hate yourself. Find out some treatment. Accept who you are. Accept it tomorrow. Baka iba na yan. Okay, ha? So, hindi ho masama na ibigin mo ang sarili mo. Masama kung nangaapi ka ng tao sapagkat mas mahal mo yung sarili mo. The thing is this, ha? If you love yourself more than others, you will also feel depressed. Kasi, look, ha? For example, you hate someone. Is that a good sign that you're normal? Hindi. For example, you're always angry with someone. Is that a good sign you're normal? Hindi din. Ang sabi ng Bible, be angry and sin not. Pwede kang magalit. Ba't hindi? Lahat ng tao nagagalit. But, wag mong isama ang galit mo sa pagtulog mo. I mean, isolve mo na yan bago ka matulog. Because you can solve it. Huwag mo sabihin sa akin, I cannot solve it. Pastor, congressman, you can. You can. You see? O yan. Anong sabi ni Pastor Sako? I cannot love others if I did not love myself first. Totoo yun. Kaya yun ang sinasabi ng Bible, ha? Okay? That we ought to love our neighbors. Kapwa-tao. Just like we love ourselves. Normal po na ibigin natin ang ating sarili. Hindi normal na i-hate mo ang iba. Hindi rin po normal na i-hate mo ang sarili mo. Because that would be depressive. Number 1 yan. Number 1. 10:39 na. Hindi tutuloy natin ito, ha? Okay. Number 2. If you need to wallow, but do so constructively. If you need to wallow. Yan sabi, ha? But do so constructively. So, ano yung wallow? No? Ha? Yung bang dinidebote mo yung sarili mo entirely dyan. Talagang yun ang pinaka ginagawa mo maigi. Ha? Okay? If you need to wallow, but do so constructively, not destructively. Ano yun? Suppressing your feeling and emotions may seem like a strategic way to cope with the negative symptoms of depression. Yan po ang ginagawa natin normally. Sinusuppress natin yung feelings natin, yung emotions natin. Akala natin, pag yan sinuppress natin, yan ang pinakamagandang paraan. But this technique is ultimately unhealthy. For example, like, parang bulkan ba? Parang bulkan na malapit ng sumabog. Ikaw, for example, pinipigilan mo yung galit mo. Galit ka na, pinipigilan mo ba? Delikado yan. Kailangan ilabas mo yan. O hindi mo kinakailangan gulpihin yung tao, pero kinakailangan lang tangkapin mo yan, ilabas mo yan. Kung kinakailangan sumigaw ka. Ha? Kung kinakailangan na umiyak ka. Huwag pigilan yung pag-iyak mo. Ha? O ito, if you're having a down day, have it. Let yourself feel the emotions. Okay. Sige. Mamaya pag-uusapan natin yung sinasabi mo. Isabel, hindi pa ako tapos dyan eh. Ikaw, tinuturuan mo na kagad ako eh. Mamaya pag-uusapan natin yan. Okay ha? Let yourself feel the emotions. But, don't stay there. Huwag ka mag-i-stay doon. Okay, nagalit ka. Pakita mo yung galit mo. Naiiyak ka. Pakita mo yung iyak mo. Pero don't stay there. Okay? Na, may mga pagkakataon, isipin natin, bakit nangyayari sa akin to? O kung gusto mo, isulat mo. Pagkasulat mo lahat, writing it or journaling it about what you're experiencing. Pero, pag lahat na isulat mo na yan, pinakamaganda niyan ay sunugin mo na isunulat mo. May mga pagkakataon sa amin, for example, like makatapos ng taon, beginning of the year, lahat po ng mga members ay pinapasulat ko ng kanilang New Year's resolution. Pero, pagkatapos po niyan, yung aming New Year's resolution ng 2020, naganap man namin o hindi, sinusunog yan. Hindi na naalala, sinusunog yan. Anong sabi ng Bible? Forgetting those things which are behind. Ayan. Yan. Isang yung bagay yan. Forgetting those things which are behind. And reaching forth unto those things which are before. Okay. Looking at the ebb and flow of depressive symptoms can be instructive for both self-healing and hope. Tama po yun. Tama yun, ha? Okay. Ito, number 3. Number 3. Know that today is not indicative of tomorrow. Kahit kailan, huwag natin pong iisipin na kung ano nangyari natin masama ngayong gabi, mangyayari uli bukas. Huwag po nating isipin yan. Know that today is not indicative of tomorrow. Kaya nga sinabi po ng Bible be angry and sin not. And sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Magalit ka, pero huwag kang makakasara sa galit mo. Yung galit na galit ka, kasi alam mo, iba yung anger sa hatred. Huwag yun. Okay. Ito. Today's mood, emotion, or thoughts do not belong to tomorrow. Tandaan yan, ha? Iba yung bukas Iba yung bukas. Huwag niyong isipin na, Ganito lang ako habang buhay. Huwag. Sabi nga habang buhay ka may pag-asa. Di ba? Okay. If you were unsuccessful at getting out of bed or accomplishing your goals today, remember that you haven't lost tomorrow's opportunity to what? To try again. Sabi nga, di ba? If you don't succeed, try and try again. See, I mean, always negative ka sa coronavirus, pero always think positive. Okay, improvement ng lifestyle, improvement ng buhay, improvement ng emotion. Give yourself the grace to accept that while some days will be difficult, some days will also be great. Try to look forward to tomorrow's fresh start. Palagi kong sinasabi, in some days, some rain must fall. But, behind those clouds, the sun is still shining. Okay. I'm going to end with that note. Alright? Ako po gumawa niyan. I will end with that note. Ulitin ko. In some days of our lives, some rain must fall. But look at the horizon. Behind those clouds, the sun is still shining. Okay. Well, it's time to end. It's time to end. Alam ko po na parang bitin na po, but it's time to end. Sabihin niyo sa mga kaibigan niyo, makinig, manood. Di ba? I mean, I want to increase mamaya, sabihin sa akin ni Obed kung ilan nanood. Okay? Let's increase the audience. Di ba maganda pinag-uusapan natin? Why don't you comment? Maganda pinag-uusapan natin. That's right. That's right. Huwag niyong kailimutan yung tatlo, ha? Ano yung una? Meet yourself where you are. Pangalawa, if you need to wallow but do so constructively, ha? Okay? Number 3, know that today is not indicative of tomorrow. So, ano yung atin na pag-aralan sa scriptures? Unang-una, anong sabi ng Bible? That you ought to love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, all your mind. And love your neighbor as you love yourself. Equal love. Mas maganda if you love your neighbor more than you love yourself. But do not hate yourself as you do not hate your neighbor. Number 1, di ba? Bible yan, pag-usapan natin. Ano yung pangalawang pinag-usapan natin? Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Magalit ka, but don't hate. Magalit ka, but don't remain angry. Magalit ka, but do not let the sun go down. Nagalit ka pa. Ano yung pangatlo? Sinabi ko, ano yung pangatlo? Forgetting those things which are behind. And reaching forth unto those things which are before. Okay? Yan po yung pangatlong scripture na ating pinag-usapan, no? At, ano po yung aking comment? Ano po yung aking quotation sa inyo? In our lives, some rain must fall. But in the horizon, behind those clouds, the sun is still shining. Magandang gabi sa inyo lahat. Salamat po sa inyong panonood. Okay? Hindi ko alam kung ilan po yung nanood ngayon. Obed, wala pa si Obed na tinetext sa akin. Siguro by Wednesday night, malalaman natin kung ilan po nanood. Please, advertise this Grace and Truth for You. Advertise it. Lagay nyo sa social media nyo. Lagay nyo sa Facebook nyo. Lagay nyo sa messenger nyo. Lahat ng mga friends nyo. Sabihan nyo, manood kayo. 10 o'clock ng gabi, manood kayo sa Grace and Truth for You. Oo. Nakakatulong po sa lahat sa atin to. It will help you a lot. Okay? So, relax lang. And of course, pray. May the Lord bless you. Alright? Magandang gabi muli sa inyo. At salamat po sa inyong panonood sa akin. Okay? Kaya tulog kayo na mahimbing. Gising kayo sa umaga na renewed ka at refresh ka. Tandaan nyo, kung sino ang dapat ma-stress, mas ako yun kaysa anyone among you. Okay? Kaya, marami pa tayong pag-uusapan. Matagal itong pag-uusapan natin. Okay? Alright, may the Lord bless you and bye-bye. Good night. God bless you.